y'all missed us or what? I mean, you keep messaging me going, well, bring Noodle Brains back. So here we are.
It's
You
been
asked
so
for it,
long.
you got it.
No, I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's just been hard. Judy and I were talking about it with our schedules. It's very conflicting. And, you've been busy with your dad and taking him to radiation and stuff. So do you want to talk about that and how he's doing?
We have 6 treatments left. So we have next week. Oh, I should probably tell you why I have this brush in my hand. So I was gonna get ready this morning like I normally do. Haley, what are you getting ready for? Church?
I have to go to a funeral.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. You're fine.
So Haley's getting ready, and I was going to get ready with her, but then I decided I really needed to groom my rabbits today because it's raining. So while she's getting ready, Willis Jr. is going to get ready with Haley. Okay, go ahead.
We look the
Okay.
same. So
We have 6 treatments left. So all next week and then Monday. He's doing really good. He's sick a lot. Yesterday
yeah.
was a bad sick day. But he got a diagnosis of a certain type of dementia. So we're dealing with that. And then he's probably going to lose his driver's license. So we're dealing with that. So I have had a lot going on with him.
Yeah, I remember when my grandpa was diagnosed and you could just kind of watch them slowly, going through chemo and stuff, watching them, just lose all their energy, not wanting to go do anything. And that was hard because my grandpa was the kind of person who always wanted to do stuff. He wanted to go to Walmart. He walked every day. And then, after going through chemo and stuff, you could see him like stopping those things.
Yeah. Well, how have you been? Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, so when we stopped recording, it was right in the midst of finals, and we were like, we're going to pick up after finals.
Right.
Finals were very stressful for me because of my chemistry class.
How did you do?
It was 4 hours long. It was a 4 hour final. I don't know what I ended up making on it, but I ended up passing with a 91.
Shut. You worried for nothing.
Girl, me and one other girl had an A. Everyone else had like B's and C's, and a lot of people failed. Like, it was bad.
Well,
It
I'm
was
proud of
stressful.
you.
Thank you. It was hard, and just like, Christmas break is when Andrew and I get to, see each other, so it's kind of hard. And I went through a tough spot, like towards the end of us like recording, and I feel like me and you talked about this, like I was struggling a lot. And
Yeah.
you knew that, like you were constantly checking on me and stuff, but
I know a lot
I
of the followers were worried about you,
like
messaging me
I
about
know that I was seeing a psychiatrist online.
right,
And when you see someone online, they can't really prescribe you narcotics,
right.
which a lot of ADHD medicine is narcotics. Well, when they decided to put me on ADHD medicine, well, it worked for like the first month or two. I had no anxiety. Well, just so many things have happened. And, when your body gets adjusted to things, you have to bring in the big guns and try new things.
Right.
So, I decided to get a new psychiatrist,
Like not
someone I could
online
see.
or
Yeah, because
in
I started going to a doctor, and he was just prescribing my other medicine and then giving me my ADHD medicine. But
yeah.
he wasn't someone I saw every month. He wasn't someone that was like, okay, well, this is working, this isn't. We need to change this, keep this.
Okay.
So we were just kind of with the meds I had. So it was kind of like, okay, well, if these aren't working, I have no one to tell me that.
Yeah.
So mom and I got a psychiatrist up in Huntsville, and I went and saw them last week, and I got put on some new medicine, and it has literally changed my perspective of life. Like,
Really? What is it? Do you care if I ask?
um, well, I was on propanolol, which is kind of like a blood pressure medicine,
I know
but
what that is.
I was on a low dose, like
Yeah.
in the morning and at night, but they changed it to just like a high dose in the morning.
Yeah.
So that is like to help with my anxiety. Well, my ADHD medicine runs out at like 4 or 5, so then I take, like, a non-stimulant ADHD medicine.
It helps you
Just
sleep.
yeah, it helps me
Doesn't
sleep and
interrupt your sleep.
yeah, and helps me calm down, but, like, yesterday, I was at work, and I was in a situation where I knew I should be stressed out, like, I knew it was something that was,
Yeah.
like, not a good situation, but I wasn't stressed out, like, I had no anxiety, and it was great because you can definitely agree with this when you're constantly anxious, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not anxious." It
Yeah,
feels amazing.
it does.
So, it's great. The only issue is, like, emotions are kinda, like, hit or miss, like, sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't.
Like, you don't have emotions at all sometimes?
Yeah, like, I'm very just, like, bland, going
Yeah,
with the flow,
yeah,
but I'd rather be like that than be extremely depressed. Because I was really suicidal, and that was kinda, like, the biggest problem we were having is that I was so just down and in the dumps,
yeah.
so we were just trying to fix that, and we did. It definitely has gotten a lot better, so I'm very thankful for that, and I've started reading,
Mhm.
and I'm getting into my Bible more, so, life it's going pretty good.
So, I will tell you that in my experience, with being on medication and all that stuff, sometimes, like when I first got on one of my medications, I was having a little bit of hallucinations, like weird stuff,
Yeah,
like really weird stuff. And I felt scared. And then I would have, I was like you, I'd have no emotion and I knew something was not right. But as I stayed on the medication, it kind of leveled
it
out
got better.
and I stopped.
Yeah.
And I've been on the same medicine since 2013.
Well,
And
they
that's
say it's 90 days in, 90 days out. So, like, mental health medication, it takes 90 days to actually get in your system, and it takes 90 days to flush it out. So, I mean, medicine definitely takes a while, and
yeah,
I think the only reason you should stop medicine is if, first off, like, it's probably not gonna work greatly, but if you're taking it and you've been taking it for 2 months and it's not doing anything for you, you don't need it. And
right,
then I also believe that the second you have, like, dizziness, nausea, anything like that, you need to cut it out. You don't need to take it.
right. You say that. Let me just tell you. My medicine caused me to feel like I was going to vomit every single night. And I would get to the point where I was crying. Like, I was like, I'm so sick of feeling like I'm going to throw up. And my doctor was like, Judy, we cannot change your medicine. We cannot change your med. First of all, you got to understand I've been on every medicine under the sun, and I had just been
Me.
hospitalized. And he
Yeah.
was like, Judy, we're gonna have to hang in there. We're gonna have to hang in there. And I was nauseated probably for a year. But guess why?
Why?
Because I was supposed to be eating 350
Oh,
calories.
yeah, isn't that when you had, like, lithium poisoning?
This was afterwards.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Well, you know that it's not like you automatically go to the hospital and you're 100% better, right? Like it's
Yeah.
you gotta go. But so I was supposed to be taking 350 calories. Well, I take it at bedtime. Who wants to eat 350 calories before you go to bed?
Yeah, not
Nobody.
me.
Nobody. And she was like, well, you could drink some milk. Well, then I would be up using the bathroom all night. So then I
Yeah.
had to force myself to do it, but I was so scared that I was going to get fat. I'm so jacked up.
No, I understand completely. I've lost so much
I'm
weight.
so jacked up. So I was just like, Judy, you've been sick for 2 years and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Then when I started doing what I was supposed to be doing, I stopped getting sick.
It Yeah. That's how it goes, like when you actually go with what you're supposed to be doing, you feel better, but it can be hard. Like sometimes they make those things unrealistic.
And a lot of the depression medicine causes weight gain. So that's a huge trigger for me. Um,
I understand that completely.
anyway,
Like ADHD medicine has the opposite effect. Like I've lost
oh yeah.
20 pounds.
I don't
Just like, and not even meaning to. I'm just not hungry. And
know.
it's like, it's a big problem because I mean, I was like, see, when me and Andrew met, I was like 110, 115. Very unhealthy though. And I mean, you know that. Like
You
I
were
was not eating at all. Well, I ended up getting up to like 135 in October. I think that's what I was weighing in at. And then I started ADHD medicine. Within 2 weeks, I was down 10 pounds. And then now I'm like 113, 114.
I remember when I was in the midst of my eating disorder, I talked the doctor into getting me on Ritalin to, and then it caused me to lose a ton of weight. And then she was like, "Oh," she
Yeah,
like
maybe that wasn't a good idea.
she caught on to me really quick, and I got in trouble.
Yeah, they tend to do that. They tend to catch you.
Yeah, they catch you every time. Yeah,
Have you been going to therapy?
every week.
Ooh, are you liking it?
Yes, I could not. Let's just put it like this: I've been going to the same counselor since 2010. So me and her are
Ooh.
almost like when we get off the phone, like I it's a phone call conversation, and I almost tell her I love her every time I
I love my therapist.
I love her.
I don't know what I'd do without her, honestly.
You know
I
what?
had to text her the
Do
other
you
night and
have
I was like,
anxiety worrying about her leaving the practice or anything?
no, because I know her and I know, like, we've already discussed that if something happens, in like worst case scenario, I have to go to like USA for med school and not UAB. Like, she's already told me we can do telehealth visits.
Oh gosh, don't you love
She's
when you have
great.
therapists like that? Is
Yeah,
he not right?
she
Is he not
I
just
I understand. My cat laid in the floor earlier while I was showering. I was like, "What are you doing?"
okay? Can we talk about something
Yeah.
that I need to talk about?
Yeah?
Okay, today is Sunday, and the big question for me that stresses me out is when I meet people and they go, "Where do you go to church?" And I sit there and go, "I don't go to church." But then it seems like I'm not a Christian because I don't go to church. And then I start having anxiety about why I don't go to church. And I can't go to church because of my anxiety. I can't be in groups. It calls, I'm scared. This is what it's like. It's like I don't want people to get to know me because I'm scared they're going to figure me out that I'm crazy or like got issues or like I have anxiety like that. Do you ever do that? Do you get
Oh,
anxiety
yeah.
going places?
Yeah, I don't wanna go anywhere but my bed. Like, actually, I don't wanna do anything, I don't wanna go anywhere. I don't wanna have friends really, because that
Me
involves me
neither.
having to get out of bed. But I will say one thing about church. I have a great church family, and it most of the people that go to the church I go to, because I go to church with Andrew, like, they're all, like, family.
Yeah.
Some of them were there when they built the church.
That guy that I met that knows you that goes to church with you said that is it Andrew's dad's a preacher or
No,
something?
he's a deacon.
The deacon. Okay.
Yeah, they're all deacons. No, Rod, he's great. I will say one thing about Andrew's church, and like they have done nothing but great things for me. Like when I went to Fair Queen, they threw me like a little party and got me a cake and stuff. And like they got me a card, and I love cards. Cards are my favorite thing ever. I love when people just when you can write down that someone means something to you. That is just so important to me. I save every card I've ever gotten since after my grandpa's passed, cuz I didn't save cards before then, but after that I was like, "You know what? I want to keep something to remember people by." So I have all my cards, and they gave me two bookmarks that I use all the time. But
That's
I
sweet.
will say with church that if you really want to go and you can like pray about it and stuff, I believe that you can go through your anxiety. And why I believe that is, you start going, you find somewhere you like. You want to find somewhere that has the
Part of
beliefs you do.
me part of me goes, I need to find a huge church where no one will notice me. Like anybody's gonna notice, and I don't mean notice me as in Snead's farmhouse. I don't want anybody to are you new? Are you like I want to sit in the
Yeah.
back and nobody talk to me. Is that terrible or what?
No, not in the slightest bit.
I just want to
'Cause, like,
like
I feel guilty like that. I feel guilty a lot when I'm, like, suicidal or something, and I feel bad because it's hard to, be a Christian when, you hate your life sometimes, and it makes you feel bad.
when you're when you say you're suicidal, do you mean you just wished everything would end as far as your depression and everything you do, or do you mean you really want to die?
Well, some days are better than others. I mean, sometimes it's like, I just don't wanna do this anymore. I don't wanna wake up every day and feel absolutely miserable. And
Yeah.
when you feel like you're doing everything you can, when I'm reading my Bible and I'm praying and I'm trying my absolute best to be happy, I am, you know, doing what I can. I'm taking my medicine right. I'm taking my vitamins. I'm putting the effort in. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and nothing's working. It can be very
Working as in your depression is like at its intense level.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And you're just kind of like, what is the reason to keep going? I feel like all I do, and when you get really depressed, like you will start pulling stuff out of your rear end,
Yeah.
and you'll be thinking like, all I do is cause problems. No one loves me. Obviously, people love you, but
Yeah.
in that moment,
I
you
know.
know, like,
I know what
you
you mean.
know,
But what
but
keeps you okay? What like I
well,
talk about this a lot. I talk about like when you go to counseling, you have to have takeaways. And you have to put those takeaways in your pocket and pull them out when your counselor's not around and be able to manage your life so you don't get to the point where you take your life. Do you
yes.
have tools that you use that you put in your pocket so you don't go off the deep end?
Yeah. So like right now I can tell you I'm okay. I'm happy and stuff, but in 3 hours I could be, wanting to kill myself. I can be really depressed, but I have tools as you said. If it gets really bad and I don't have anyone I can text or go to in that exact second, I'm texting 988. I don't think about anything else. I text them. And if you want my honest opinion, me and my psychiatrist talked about this. I don't think what they say helps. But
I've never
I
called
think
988.
I don't call them, I text them.
Oh,
But here's my thing, it's the fact that someone is listening to me and someone actually cares about what I'm saying. They'll give you this advice and it doesn't really help me, but it's the fact that this person has gave their life to do this for me, and they are dropping everything at the like drop of a hat, and they are helping me through what I'm doing, and that to me is enough, where they text me just enough to where I can calm down and regain my thoughts.
you know what I think like about you and I that are similar
What?
is I'm the same way. Like when I was suicidal a lot, mine was a very quick moment. It my I, I don't have planned suicide. I wouldn't have planned suicide actions. Like I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go get this pill. I'm gonna do this. Mine was a quick action, and that's really scary because sometimes when you're in the moment, you know, it's it's not something that's planned. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
trigger. Something can happen, and it's a trigger. Do you get
No, I
embarrassed
agree.
about feeling the way you feel?
Yeah. I get embarrassed that, like, this is gonna sound bad too, because I know I would never get judged by my church family, but, like, part of me is kinda like, I never want them to I don't ever want someone to look at me and go, "Oh my gosh, she wants attention," or, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she's crazy." Because 'cause I'm really good at putting up a front. I'm good at looking happy and I'm good at pretending everything's like all well, but I never want someone to look at me and go, she did this to herself, or she's not a real Christian because she feels this
Or
way.
she's
She doesn't pray
selfish.
enough.
She's only
Yeah,
thinking about herself. I know.
yeah. Because if you want my opinion, I think that if you've never been in a really suicidal spot where you scared your, because like I'll tell you right now, I'm okay right now. And I feel like you can agree with the fact that when you know that when you're not okay, sometimes you're worried that you might actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I am worried about that. And that's why I have tools that I am ready to use when I need to use them. That's why I know I can text 988. And that's why I know I can go into my brother's room, go if no one's home, I can call someone. I know that when I'm really suicidal, I don't need to drive. I know that I don't need to be somewhere that I can make that decision right there that I can't take back.
My doctor used to tell me if I got like where I was like that, I was supposed to go get in the bed. She goes, go get in the bed. I just want you to go get in the bed. And that's what I would do. I'd just go get in the bed. And it would help me go to sleep and kind of like calm down and breathe and slow my brain down a little bit so that I wouldn't
Yeah.
be, you know, thinking crazy, irrational thoughts that I shouldn't be thinking about.
Well,
Like
like,
sometimes people go, don't go get around people, don't be alone. I don't work that way.
see, I'm not in a like I don't want to be around friends or anybody. And like I don't necessarily want to be around someone. I just know sometimes I need to be, so I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I like to read now when I get like that because I love reading because I can escape, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I can escape to a different reality and I can envision this different world, this different life.
Looking better. You should see what in my lap looks like.
I would be sneezing so bad.
I'm gonna be.
No, but I don't know. I also think that um getting to that point takes certain triggers. I know for me, like if me and Andrew get in a bad fight, and we've gotten a lot better with, since I've gotten put on more medicine and starting to figure out my body and how my brain works and stuff. Things are getting a lot better, but I mean, we obviously everyone fights at some point, and sometimes I'll just get really like worried, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he hates me. I can't do anything right. All I do is make everyone mad, upset, and that can like be a really big trigger for me. And
Yeah.
for him, it's like you're kind of being dramatic.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a little fight, like, "Love, I don't wanna talk right now. I wanna talk later, I don't wanna talk right now." And for me, that can be hard, but I've gotten a lot better at being okay with it
Yeah.
and learning that we don't have to talk every second of the day. Like, we've gotten to the point, like, when he's at school, we don't text a lot. We text, like, here and there, we check in, we FaceTime some, but we definitely don't talk a ton.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm okay with that, but I have had to learn I have to make my own hobbies to where I won't bother him.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm, like, bothering him or he doesn't wanna talk to me, it's the fact that, his entire world does not revolve around me, and it shouldn't.
Well,
So,
I talk about, as a matter of fact, I talked about it this week, is when you depend on your spouse for your joy and for your, like, I'm bored. My spouse needs to do something with me, or I need to talk to him. I'm bored. Like when you depend on your spouse, it causes a lot of stress to your spouse because you're
because
depending
it's
on
not
him
their
for
problem.
everything. Right. It's our problem. So, like, we got to learn how to be independent.
Yes. Kinda like okay, this might not be a great analogy for, like, me and you, but it might be for someone out there that's plays sports or something. Your basketball coach is not responsible for your athletic ability in softball. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, your coach is going to be there and help you in everything in the basketball department, but when it comes to softball, you need to go to your softball coach.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things Andrew cannot help me with, and that is perfectly okay. And there are some things my therapist can't help me with. There are some things that have to be taken up between only me and the big man upstairs. Now, I am a believer in praying for the little things. I'm a believer in praying to find your favorite pencil. I'm a believer in praying that the store has the candy you want. But I am saying that if you're upset about something your spouse is doing, you can talk to your spouse about that. But if you're upset about the way your hair looks, you don't need to bother your spouse about that.
I've never thought of it that way.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, I say this stuff and I definitely still struggle with it. So like, don't hold me to it because I definitely don't do it every day and I'm definitely not great. Definitely not a great girlfriend. But I can say that learning to listen to each other and go, okay, this is what I need from you and this is what like I need from you. So you both talk about that and you're just honest with each other. And I just think it makes your mental health a lot better when you know where you stand. So
Yeah.
you're not overthinking it. So like now I know that if I get upset about certain things, he knows to just sit there and let me complain and he knows to just like not say anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a happy relationship really does help your mental health so much.
Well, you should always strive to keep bettering yourself, keep
Yes.
learning, keep challenging yourself because I feel like if you don't, you fall in a slump. I know for
Yeah, and you
me,
don't want to be down.
Debbie Downer. Nobody wants to be around Debbie Downer.
And I've heard that my entire life. I've always been called that. And it's just like,
Downer.
instead of what?
You've been called a Debbie Downer.
Oh, yeah. But in my opinion, instead of saying that to somebody, say, hey, are you okay? Like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't like when people say that because sometimes, like, I'm trying to have a good time and like sometimes I just can't. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was the way my brain was programmed and that's the way my brain is and that's what makes me unique and different from a lot of people and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with,
He
being
lives,
different.
he's like upside down. He does not care.
His legs.
This chill rabbit because he's held a lot. It's just like whatever you want to do to me, mom. Um, a lot of times when I'm down, I can do what I'm doing right now and put a rabbit in my hand and groom them or go out there and just get my mind off things. Like where you talk about you escape reading.
With the animals, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a great thing. And like sometimes I do that too. Like I'll just pet my dogs or I'll just hold them because I'm like, okay, well, you know, what would they do if you were to, act on your thoughts? And sometimes you have to, once you've been in that position so many times and you know what works, what doesn't work, and you know realistically what actually happens when you do that, when you make that decision that you can't take back, you learn, hey, okay, like this isn't worth it. It's not worth me being upset about. It's not worth, me having a bad day over. But that doesn't mean it makes it any easier to feel better.
I just feel like, I mean, I'm not saying, look what I look like. I'm, it's good to talk about problems, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's more important to talk about solutions versus your problem.
Yes.
Like, okay, we all have problems, and we could sit here and go, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea. My dad drives me crazy, or my husband drives me crazy, or blah blah blah." Blah. Just we could go 90 to
Yeah.
nothing. You could go, "Oh no, let me just tell you about my dad. My dad drives me crazy." Whatever. We could sit here and share, but the best thing to talk about is solutions. Like, what can we do when this situation happens? And I feel like our followers that struggle with depression, I think they're looking for answers. And just like we all wish there was that magic pill to make us better, you know, we it's hard work. It's waking up every single day and starting over. And it's like everybody wants this magic pill to go, take my depression away, take my anxiety away. No, honey, you got to start over every single day.
And that's another thing. People think that that medicine just fixes it overnight, and it doesn't. Being
No,
on medicine doesn't just fix me from being depressed. I still have to put in a crap ton of effort to be
I
okay.
have to go to counseling.
Yeah. I have to keep myself in line. I have to know, okay, well, I've got to go do this. I've got to do this. I've got to make sure I don't, put myself in this position.
Right.
Like, it's a process, and people don't understand that. They just want something like they want to be able to, as you said, take a pill and be perfectly fine, but that's not how it works.
A quick solution. And I think that's why a lot of people that have mental health issues also have drug uh,
Yes.
problems, because they're looking for a quick fix. They're looking for a getaway, and that's their getaway. Is I can't fix my depression, but I can take something to knock me out so I don't think about it.
Yeah. And
I
then
don't know. I
at the
could be
point when
wrong.
you do
I've
that,
been one to do drugs, but I just wonder if a lot of drug addiction is from no mental health care.
yes. And that's what they say, is that it's like self-medicating, and I'll just never understand why people know that they can go get help and they
Yep.
don't. And like I can understand, being scared to ask, but turning to drugs. And at this point, like it's 2024. We have seen what drugs do to people. Why are we still putting them in our bodies?
Well, think about this too. Let's not even talk. Let's talk about just mental health. Okay, there are costs involved for mental health. You have to take medicine that costs money. You have to go to therapy once a week, or once every other week, once a month. That costs a copay. You got to go get seen by the doctor to get your prescriptions refilled. There's a copay. You got to make sure you have insurance. There's like a lot. There's a big commitment in being okay when you have
Oh
mental.
yeah. But we have the Good Samaritan Clinic.
Yeah, true.
They provide like more affordable options, especially for mental health, because of the Stephen K. Griffith Foundation, because they do that, and they make sure that
Tell me more about that.
so from what I know and what I've heard and read about it, it was started because a man lost his life to a mentally ill man, like he was murdered. But the problem was the
An
guy
innocent
was supposed to be
man was burnt. An innocent man was murdered by.
killed by a mentally ill man. Well, that mentally ill man was supposed to be on medication, but he couldn't afford it.
Oh,
So instead of ridiculing this man, the guy that passed away, his family was like, you know what? We want to make therapy and medication more affordable, because no one deserves to suffer because they can't afford it. So that's what that is. And they donate to the Good Samaritan Clinic, which is a clinic that provides like all types of health care for a more affordable cost.
I need to check into that. See how
Which
I.
I will completely agree with you. If you don't have great insurance, it can get expensive.
Yeah.
Like my copays are like $35 if I'm going to therapy 4 times a month, plus like I have $60 worth of medication every month. That's not even counting the psychiatry visits if I go to the chiropractor, if I have to go to the doctor,
Yep.
or the gas to get to all these places. Like it racks up my bill.
Yeah.
But at another point, I've also had to learn here recently that you can't just think about the money, because at some point the money is nowhere near as important as me being happy.
Right.
Like, I'm okay to work my butt off for me to be happy.
Right.
And that's something I struggle with, is worrying about money, because I grew up poor. I
Me
grew up
too.
dirt poor when I was younger. But now, I mean, I'm not that poor, but at the same time, I know that you can go back to that place really quick. So I
Right.
always worry about money, and I'm like, okay, well, I know I have to save up this amount of money, so I don't want to spend any money on this, or that. But then I have to remind myself I'm 17. I shouldn't be worrying about finances.
My fear of being homeless came from living with a single mom who my dad left and she didn't even wasn't even ever been in the workforce. So we were poor too.
Yeah, and like that's where it comes from, especially when you watch a single mom absolutely bust her tail.
Yep.
My entire life, I've watched my mom work long hours. I've watched her give up so many different things for us. And I mean, to me, both of my parents are very hardworking. My dad works really hard, my mom works really hard, and that's definitely where I get it from. But that's still kind of, they want to give me a life they never got to have.
Right.
But they still want me to know, like, you're going to fall on your face, it's going to suck, but you're going to have to get yourself back up.
Yep.
And I'm glad I was raised like that. I'm glad I don't have parents that are going to catch me if I fall, because I want to fall on my face. I want to learn, hey, you know what? If you only made $200 this week and you went and spent 150 on clothes, guess what? You only have $50 to get you gas for the rest of the week. Like,
Yeah.
that's your fault.
Yeah.
It's not my mom's job to pay for my gas. It's not my mom's job to buy me, you know, random things, new makeup. That's not her job.
Yeah.
Once you hit a certain age, I think that certain things are completely your responsibility. And I think that is for the child's sake.
I don't know what fantasy land I was living in thinking of doing this in my bedroom. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was kind of like, that poor vacuum.
what? Well, I was just going to brush him and then I got the scissors. Hey, buddy. I got the scissors because he needs to be trimmed.
No, I I will say that one big thing with mental health is learning when you need to listen to yourself, and when you need to, decide, hey, I need to have plans. I need to know that when I reach a certain point, I need to go here, here, and here, and I need to have almost like a getaway plan. Instead of having a plan to kill yourself, you need to have a plan that can keep you from that, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my biggest thing, and that is something that I will always believe, that if you have a plan, because I'm a big planner, if you have a plan and you know what you're going to do, then everything's going to be okay.
He's kidding. Hey, boy.
He said, I'm done. I'm done now. He said,
Mom, I've had enough.
well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about today? Like, any other big things we've missed?
So, having a podcast and a YouTube channel is a commitment. Um, Once we make a commitment, people depend on our videos. So we need to make a commitment to each other that we will make. You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
That we will try to do this once a week. And maybe on the days that we have a hard time, of course, it's Andrew that edits the videos, but maybe we can go live, on the days
Yes.
we can't record and edit. Because I know he's
Yeah.
got school too.
I think that we just have to set like a set schedule so we don't like, stop, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like we don't
right.
stop doing it and stuff. I just think that's like our big thing is that we had the problem where we would have a day and then, we get busy, we forget about it, and then we're like, okay, well, we'll record this today. And that ends up being like 2 days before we're supposed to post. And then we're like all haywire trying to get everything done.
Yeah, it's hard.
But
It is a
everything's going to work
commitment.
out
It
and
is.
we're going to make it work.
I'm glad that we talked today, and um, I know that when you're in the midst of a suicide thought, the last thing you think about per se is phoning a friend and going, "I'm suicidal." Like that's the last
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
You know, you just want to lay down and go, "Please, just take me out." But
And
just
that's what I had to learn.
yeah,
I mean, I had to learn that at some point I have to worry about my mental health before I worry about someone else's. Like with the podcast, I was like, I cannot do this right now.
yeah,
I need to worry about myself. And it sounds wrong, but when you've been at that point, hey, like right now, I'm what's important.
yep, yep. And I think our followers will understand you saying that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think too that you know they get invested in your life and they just want to know that you're okay. So maybe a simple
Yeah.
post is, "Y'all bear with me. I've got finals. I'm okay." Um, Maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
I should
But
have gotten them there, but like you said, with my dad and you with finals, it was just crazy. But
it
I'm,
was. And with the holidays too.
mhm,
So, but we're gonna start doing every week.
yep.
Oh my gosh, I gotta show you my cat right now.
Rotten thing. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, he's so funny. I don't know what he's doing.
That
It's
is
those stray cats. I'm telling you, they got something wrong with them. Well, I love you so much, and I'm so excited we did this. And I will text you, and we'll discuss.
when will this
You
video
know,
go out so I can let people know
yes.
when?
So,
Used to be
I'm
on Tuesdays.
assuming Tuesday.
I was gonna say it used to be Tuesdays. Okay.
The
I'll make a post. Um,
6th.
if you'll make a post on Noodle Brains, I'll make a post on my page.
Okay. I'll just make sure. I'll have to get with Andrew
I
and
won't
make sure
post
he
until
can
I
do it.
hear back from you.
What?
I won't post anything till I hear back from you.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely get with him today, and it just kind of depends on if he's busy or not. I don't think he is. He's so cute.
All right. I'll see you later. I love you. Oh, I'm
Love
sorry.
you. It was good to see everyone. Bye.
Bye.